Hey, it's Dr. Walker. Last video from the RV tonight, I think. So this is the budget. I'm going to take you through how to do a budget, or it's also called a sample break-even analysis. And we're using money that you might spend if you were opening a private practice. So I want to take this slowly, and I want to help you understand the pieces and parts, and then we'll start playing with the numbers. So first, notice that across the top, we have the months in a year. Let's say you moved into your office in January. So January all the way to December. And then on the left side, we have expenses. And I have a pink line down here, but I'm not going to talk about that yet. Let's just look at our expenses. All right, so now you may notice some months have more expenses than others. And that's pretty typical for a private practice, especially when you're starting out. So in January, let's say that's your starting month, you're going to do things like, buy some office furniture, and you're going to pay the down payment on your office or your first sublease. Those are when some big expenses will happen. Maybe you're deciding whether or not you want to join a professional organization. So let's look at the expenses that happen kind of boom all at once, and then the ones that sort of titrate themselves out through the rest of the year. So January, we've got rent, we've got a brand new phone, brand new furniture, you pay your license renewal, everything just hits at once, right? Your first computer, the software, the training for the software. You may join some networking groups in town like the Chamber of Commerce. And then you might have some subscriptions to things like Psychology Today, office supplies, and maintenance. So this, let me just double check that website. I knew that wasn't that expensive. Website design and maintenance this could be expensive at first. And I know there are those of you out there who say, no, I know how to do this. I'm talking about when you really take the time to get your blogs going and your search engine optimization and your keyword rich stuff. You really need, if you're going to spend money, spend it here. Internet advertising, professional organizations like TCA, ACA, LMFT, your malpractice insurance. This legal shield, that's something that's optional. It's something I got initially just because it was like having an attorney on call, but your professional organizations and even your malpractice insurance can do that as well. Your print advertising, I'm just going to take that out right now because I don't believe in print advertising anymore. So boom, it's gone. Bookkeeping, I'm also going to take that out, because that has become an expense that it really can be streamlined through the right software. Specialized supplies, I just put $500 because you may need toys for play therapy. You may be doing assessments and offering batteries of assessments. And then your LLC or your PLLC, whichever you and your attorney decide to do, that's going to protect your business from things that could go wrong. Actually, what it does is it protects your life, your assets, your house, things that could be taken away from you in a lawsuit. I'm not an attorney, but I do know that an LLC or a PLLC can protect your assets from a malicious lawsuit. And then when we see now we've got these big expenses in January, for the rest of the year, we just have things like rent and your phone and your office supplies and your internet advertising. Actually, I would even get rid of the internet advertising at first. Your legal shield, maybe not. Your bookkeeper, definitely get rid of that. So really, you don't hit any big expenses until, let's see, April. We might want to put a big expense here just because this is when you'll do your taxes. So we don't really have a line for that. So I'm going to go ahead and steal it from the LLC line because you want to pay about $500 to do your taxes. All right, so look at our expenses. It starts off huge, but then it tapers off to something that's pretty manageable, or at least predictable. Now, I'm going to give you an example based on 2 prices per session. So if you're going to take insurance, you're going to take anywhere between $60 and $80 per session, and that is a ballpark figure. If you are going to be a cash only person, you could take anywhere from $100 to $200 an hour. So I'm going to give you a little bit of both. So I'm going to start with $150 an hour. How many appointments would you need to break even and then start to profit? So let's look. If you had 10 appointments at $150 an hour, your client income here in the blue is $1,500. Now, that makes a little bit of a dent in your debt, right? The debt or the expenses, but you're still $5,980 short. You have not made a profit yet because you spent more than you made. The next month, you have 20 clients. Go you. You're going to make $3,000, but this debt carries over. You still owe the money. You're still in the hole. And so even though your expenses went down to $1,260 because you still are carrying over this negative balance, you aren't breaking even yet, right? You're still $4,240 in the hole. 30 clients, 30 hours, go you. Your practice is building. You're making $4,500 in 1 month. That's tremendous. But you're still carrying over that debt or that expenses. Even if it wasn't debt, let's say you paid cash for it, we're still not looking at it as a profit yet because you have still more outgoing than you have incoming. Now, finally, look here. This is awesome. Let's see, that's April. And I'm even going to change colors here. Let's change that to blue if we can, because you just turned a profit, right? You had 28 sessions, which you didn't even have the same number that you had before. You made $4,200, but now you are finally making more than you had to spend to start up your practice. And from here on out, if you watch your expenses, you'll see that every month you're making more money and you're able to keep it at right around 60 appointments. That's not bad. That's less than 20 appointments a week. And it's a great way to, if you're trying to keep a balanced life or have 2 careers, it's a great way to do that. So you see, if I go in here and start playing with these numbers, I'm not going to change the $150 an hour because that's pre-programmed. I loaded that in there for you, but you can play around with expenses. So let's say, Winter Storm Uri comes along in February and cost you $1,000 in expenses and specialized supplies. Well, that's going to change all of our numbers, right? Lucky for you, you still turned a profit in month 4. So that's awesome. So let's take that out. Now let's say you decide that you don't need Legal Shield, which you probably won't if you get your professional organization with the same service. So I'm going to go through and delete all of those. And you'll see that, oops, there we are. You almost turned a profit in month 3 just by getting that. Oh my gosh, this is getting me fired up. Let's get rid of your bookkeeper too. So no bookkeeper. Now what did that do? Right? So you're getting closer and closer to turning a profit. In fact, if you just had a few more clients, let's say you had 40 clients in month 3, you would be out of debt, making more money than you had to spend by month 3, charging $150 an hour. All right, so let's go to the next example at $65 an hour. Our expenses are going to stay the same. I just wiped some out, but let's look. You can make a really good living at $65 an hour. Same expenses, 10 clients a month, 25 clients a month, 40 clients. And when I say clients, I'm sorry, I mean hours. You still start to make a profit by about month 4, and I'll change the color there, right? So you can see by playing around with these numbers, let's say you ended up getting 30 hours in the next month or 50 hours, then you start to get more profit and you start to make more than you had to spend to get into business. Now, here's the problem with less per hour. Of course, you knew this was coming. You have to see way more clients to make even close to the same amount of money, right? So seeing 70 hours a month here, making $3,550 after expenses, we're $8,000 here after your expenses, right? So you're almost, this is getting into a realm that for some people it makes them feel like their life is a little bit unbalanced, because, you know, once you get into like the realm of 80 clients, let's go ahead and do that. 80 clients, 80 direct hours. So you're seeing 80 people, you're bringing in $5,200 a month in client income, but because of expenses, out the money goes, and you're still making about half of what you would make seeing fewer clients at $150 an hour. So I hope this helps you create your own budget. Go ahead and feel free to play with all of the numbers in there. Remember, I pre-programmed in the $150 and the $65 per hour, but if you know Excel, you'll be able to go in there and change it and play around with that as well. So good luck with that. If you have questions, let me know.